Look at a suit of medieval armor in a museum. It looks incredibly small. It looks like it was built for a young child. Look at the doorways in an old 17th century house. You have to duck your head to walk inside. Modern people think ancient men were massive giants. We picture huge cavemen wrestling saber-toothed tigers. This is a complete biological lie. Extreme human height is a very modern invention. It is the result of modern industrial agriculture. For 300,000 years, the ancient world was ruled by short men. So what did a prehistoric tribe do with a tiny guy? If a man stopped growing, was he totally useless? Did the tribe just leave him to the hungry wolves? Modern dating apps demand men be over 6 feet tall. We assume the Ice Age was infinitely more brutal. But the ancient bones reveal a completely shocking paradox. Survival in the Ice Age was a brutal math equation. It was a deadly game of daily calories. A massive, heavily muscled man is a biological furnace. He needs roughly 3,000 calories every single day. His giant muscles burn precious energy constantly. A shorter man might only need 2,000 calories. That is a massive daily difference. 1,000 calories equals roughly 2 pounds of raw meat. The tall guy has to hunt twice as hard. When the winter blizzards hit, the animals disappear entirely. The tribe goes for days without eating any real food. This is when extreme height becomes a deadly curse. A giant man literally starves first. His body starts violently eating its own muscle tissue. His massive internal organs begin to slowly shut down. A short man survives on significantly less fuel. He is a highly efficient biological machine. His compact body quietly waits out the freezing storm. Look at the famous Neanderthal skeletons. They were notoriously short and incredibly thick. Shorter limbs trap vital body heat much better. Tall, lanky hunters simply froze to death faster. But surviving the cold is not enough. You still have to earn your daily keep. What if a man was completely too short to hunt? Hunter-gatherers did not tolerate lazy people. If you did not contribute, the whole tribe starved. So how did a tiny man physically survive? The actual answer is buried deep in Italian dirt. In 1961, archaeologists excavated the dark Romito Cave. It was a sacred burial site for prehistoric humans. Deep inside, they found an 11,000-year-old grave. Anthropologist Vincenzo Formicola studied these exact bones extensively. The grave held the skeleton of a young teenager, but his bones were completely shocking. He had a severe genetic form of dwarfism. He was roughly 4 feet tall at most. His arms and legs were incredibly short and curved. He could not run from massive apex predators. He definitely could not chase furious wild bulls. In a brutal ice age, he was completely helpless. Nature usually deletes severe genetic anomalies instantly, but this ancient boy lived to be almost 20. Someone fed him precious meat his entire life. Someone protected him from massive cave lions. Anthropologists expected to find signs of severe physical abuse. They assumed he was treated like a useless tribal slave. Instead, the bones rewrote human history entirely. The skeleton showed zero signs of violence. He was not murdered by the tribal alphas. He was buried with deep respect and intense care. They laid his body in the main sacred area. He was placed perfectly next to an older woman. This was very likely his own loving mother. Ancient humans kept him alive on absolute purpose, but prehistoric tribes did not have any free riders. Everyone worked extremely hard from dawn until dusk. So what did a tiny man actually do all day? Think about the tribe's violent daily reality. Someone has to make the razor-sharp flint weapons. Someone has to fix the torn animal skins. Someone has to guard the highly vulnerable babies. A man who stays at camp is absolutely essential. He watches the dark tree line for hungry wolves. He crafts the deadly spears the tall guys throw. Flint knapping is highly complex and dangerous work. He becomes the absolute master of making tools. He turns raw stones into lethal killing machines. Here is a deeply moral question for you. Imagine you lead a slowly starving ancient tribe. You have only one piece of meat left. Do you give it to the tall injured hunter or the short guy who makes all your weapons? What would you do in this dark situation? Let me know your honest choice in the comments. Your choice decides if the whole tribe lives or dies. Look at chimpanzees for a very dark biological comparison. They are our closest living genetic relatives. Chimp troops are totally obsessed with physical size. The biggest, strongest male forcefully rules the troop. He violently takes all the food and the females. If a chimp is abnormally small or physically disabled, he gets brutally bullied by the bigger males. He gets violently pushed away from the fresh food. Early humans completely broke this violent primate rule. We evolved a brand new psychological trick. Evolutionary anthropologist Christopher Bohm calls it the reverse dominance hierarchy. Before weapons, the biggest primate always ruthlessly won. But humans learned how to shape sharp throwing stones. This changed the entire psychology of the human race. If a tall guy acted like a violent bully, the short guys simply teamed up together. They waited until the big guy fell asleep. Then they crushed his skull with heavy rocks. A sleeping giant is incredibly easy to kill. Evolution aggressively punished men who acted huge and violent. Being a giant bully was a fast death sentence. The tribe naturally selected for friendly, cooperative male leaders. The short guys effectively bred the violent tyrants out. Teamwork always defeated raw, mindless physical strength. A short man might have been the best animal tracker. He might know which wild plants cure deadly poison. In a world without books, he was a living library. Losing him meant losing a map to hidden water. But how did short men actually hunt dangerous prey? Let us look at the Sam Bushmen of the Kalahari. They are some of the greatest hunters on earth. They hunt by running animals to absolute total exhaustion. They literally run under the blazing sun for 8 hours. Do you know their average male physical height? They are barely 5 feet and 3 inches tall. A heavily muscled 6-foot man would completely die here. He would overheat and collapse in 20 minutes. The short guys win the brutal marathon every single time. Evolution built them for insane physical endurance. Then came a terrifying prehistoric technological leap. The invention of the ancient spear thrower. It is a brilliant wooden weapon called the atlatl. It perfectly acts like an extra arm joint. It multiplies human throwing power by almost 10 times. A 5-foot man with an atlatl is incredibly deadly. He can easily pierce a massive mammoth's thick skull. He can strike with the absolute force of a bullet. Suddenly, raw shoulder muscle simply did not matter anymore. Technology completely leveled the violent prehistoric playing field. The short man invented the smartest, deadliest weapon. Then he used it to entirely hack the food chain. He became the ultimate apex predator. The ancient world was a highly deadly place. Survival was always a very brutal team sport. Ancient humans did not kill off their short men. They did not cruelly banish them to the hungry wolves. They put them to work as lethal tech engineers. The Romito Cave dwarf absolutely proves this amazing fact. We survived because we valued deep usefulness over physical size. The short man carved the essential bone fish hooks. He carefully wove the strong, life-saving fishing nets. He kept the vital campfires burning brightly at night. He taught the young children how to spot venomous snakes. He was the most vital gear in the tribal machine. We completely won the ancient evolutionary survival race. We won because we stopped acting like violent chimpanzees. We entirely stopped worshiping pure, raw muscle mass. We started worshiping complex intelligence and deep social cooperation. The short guys were never a useless genetic burden. They were humanity's ultimate secret weapon for long-term survival. Today, modern men furiously stress over dating app heights. They falsely think modern evolution totally left them behind. They forget their short ancestors survived the brutal ice age. The instinct to judge by physical size is a primitive leftover. We do not need to wrestle woolly mammoths anymore. Your brain is the only weapon that actually matters. If you survived this video, you belong in our tribe. Hit subscribe for more dark history and forgotten facts. Size really does not matter when outsmarting a tiger.